Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ron Ratner. I'm the Senior Associate Commissioner at the Northeast Conference, and we are back for our weekly men's basketball Geico Google Hangout. Today's Google Hangout is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Please visit geico.com. I'm so happy to have this week's guest. This guy's been on fire lately. He was just named the Met Riders Basketball Player of the Week after averaging over 26 points a game last week. He now leads the NEC in scoring at over 17 points a game, 23 points a game in league play. Lots of good numbers there. Last Thursday, he had his second 30-point game of the season against Bryant. He had 31. Welcome, Marcus Burton from Wagner College. Thanks for joining us, Marcus.
Thank you.
All right, so I want to take a good long look at your career at Wagner. But before that, I'd like to get into the Seahawks and the season that you've been having. So let's start from the beginning of this year's senior year. I look at your roster, and I see that there are six players from last year's team that are gone. Okay, these are players that were pretty much household names in the Northeast Conference. Latif Rivers and Maya Folahan and Kenny Ortiz, Orlando Parker, all these guys. You had 63 wins the last 3 seasons, of which you were a part of it. When you got back on campus this summer, 7 new guys on the roster, and suddenly you're one of the older guys. You're one of the seniors that's remaining now. It's just 2 seniors on the team. Did you think going into this season with so many newcomers and so many freshmen that this was going to be a rebuilding year, or did you feel that this team could be really good really quickly?
A little bit of both. Coach Bosch, he really stressed to me that these incoming freshmen are really talented, and I think they are. Coming back this summer, it was very different. I was asked to lead a lot more and just to take the big challenge.
So in the off season, Coach Mason, he talked to you. Did he let you know what your role was going to be this year, how it was going to change?
Yeah, he did. He wanted me to be a lot more aggressive, and it took a while for me to understand like how to do that because I hadn't done it before. I would come off the bench. Now I would score off the bench, but to be aggressive throughout the whole game and make plays for other people and just make my teammates better.
Does the leadership component of what Coach is asking you, does that come easy to you? Is it natural, or do you got to really work at it?
I had to work at it. It took a while for me to get it. Over the last 3 or 4 weeks, I mean, it's been coming naturally and easy.
So now everything has changed. Like the team has changed, your role has changed. The first part of the season, did you feel a pressure on you, the need to perform and get buckets every night as one of the leaders, one of the seniors on the team?
Yeah, I did. I think I was putting too much pressure on myself, and we would have film sessions, and I just looked out of whack. I wasn't being myself, and as the season kept progressing, I just started finding.
Why do you think that change occurred?
Just talks with my coaches and just them telling me stuff that they saw on film. And me just watching film and studying.
Is there a different mindset starting than coming off the bench, which you did for 3 years, providing that spark?
Yeah, there's a different mindset. From the beginning of the game to the end of the game, I have to be aggressive, especially at the end of the game. We've played a lot of close games this year, and they look to me to make the big plays down the stretch.
So let's talk about some of these games. You'd lost 7 in a row at one point in the season. Then came the Mount game a couple weeks ago, and I was watching this on front row. It was a great game, double overtime. How big was that win, both for you personally and your performance, scoring 38 that night, and then for the team being able to rally late in regulation and then again in the first overtime to get that win against a good team?
Personally, it was great. I mean, it was something that I knew I could do, was score the ball like that, but that just hadn't happened so far at that point in the season. And team-wise, I think we were really needing a win. And for us to get it in that way with the steal, and then the pass to Ramon, him hitting the 3 to send to overtime, and then me hitting the layup to send to another overtime, and just the way we won the game was just impressive.
After that game, I'm going to read a quote. This is just right out of the advance. This is what you said. You said, "Coach challenged me. He told me that for us to be successful, I have to be the best player on the floor every night." So to me, as I read that, I look at that as that's a challenge to you, but that's also a vote of confidence in you that your coach has. How does that make you feel when you hear him say something like that?
Well, it makes me feel great. I mean, it builds my confidence even more. The game before that, I had 8 points versus St. Francis, PA, and I only played like 23 minutes because of foul trouble. And I remember that film session. He told me that all the other seniors in the league were playing much better than me, and so he challenged me to be better than them, and every night just be the best player on the court. And I took it personally, and I just went out and did it.
So when you head out to the court each game now, is that on your mind as you're going out to tip off that I have to be at my best for us to succeed?
Yeah, most definitely. Like even on off nights, I have to find something that's going to help my team win. Whether that's scoring, passing, or just being a lockdown defender.
So you got yourself into a nice groove now, shooting the ball, scoring the ball. When you're rolling like this, does the basket seem bigger? Does the game slow down? When you have the ball in your hands now, how powerful do you feel?
I wouldn't use the word powerful, but I feel pretty confident. Another thing that I'm adjusting to though is the defense from these other teams is starting to change a little bit. They're applying a lot more pressure than they were like the beginning of the season.
So when you're out there and it's crunch time, are you the type? Do you want that ball in your hands? Is that what you're hoping that coach calls on your number?
Yeah, I mean he pretty much does. But personally, I want it. I'm always gonna want the ball in my hands at the end of the game. I look forward to those shots.
So do you find this year, because last year you had all these other weapons on your team, and
Right.
now you're as the number one weapon. Do you find you were getting more open looks last year? Now you got to work a little harder to get those shots off?
Oh yeah, most definitely. My coach Boss over the summer he was stressing to me that you're gonna have to make some tough twos and some tough threes. And I didn't understand then, but I definitely understand now.
So how comfortable are you with your range? Like 35, 40 feet, maybe 45? What are we talking? What do you feel good at?
I tell when I shoot the ball from so deep, I honestly have no clue like how far I am. It just feels right. It just feels good. I just let it fly.
All right, that's good. So you're closing in on 1,000 career points. Did you think back when you were a freshman, you were coming off the bench, you were on a really good team, you ever think you'd have the opportunity to reach a milestone like that?
I didn't think about it much as a freshman. Danny, he really stressed winning, so that's really all I thought about. But now that it's like I'm getting closer, it's going to be a great milestone.
What you mentioned Danny Harley. When you have now, I know Bashir was assistant on Danny's staff. What's the difference between those two coaches that you've played for? They're both intense, right?
Yeah, there's not much of a difference. Danny, I think Danny was just a little bit crazier in practice.
All right, we'll leave it at that. So each year you've come in and you've lifted your game. You averaged I'm looking at your numbers: 3.5 as a freshman, 8.5 as a sophomore, 11 as a junior, now almost 18 a game as a senior. This past summer, when you knew that your role was going to change and your coaches challenged you to make those tough twos and tough threes, what did you do in the off season to take your game to the next level?
I was here for both summer sessions, so I worked out a lot with the coaching staff. And I know we worked on a lot of ball handling, a lot of shooting drills, and just built our confidence as a team as a whole. And personally, like they built my confidence up a lot too.
So now, as the elder statesman, it must seem weird for you to be the elder statesman on a team, but you have all these great freshman guards, and I've been in a couple of your games. I want to go through some of these guys. I want to know your thoughts on their game today and what you think can become of them in the future. What about JoJo Cooper at running the point for you?
Yeah, Joe is probably one of the toughest guards that I've played with. He's very similar to Kenny Ortiz. Coach always stresses that he can be just as good as the defender Kenny was. And offensively, I think he's a better shooter than Kenny, and he's also he's heady. Like he knows how to get other people involved, which I think is very great.
When you make that comparison, that's a huge compliment to JoJo, comparing him to Kenny. What about Corey Henson, your shooter here?
Corey is great, man. He's a great playmaker. He has extremely long arms, which I think is a huge advantage for him. He's a great shot maker, and he gets other people better that's around him.
You mentioned Ramon earlier, who's hit some big shots for you guys.
Yeah.
He's got some size and everything. What do we should be looking for in his game?
Ramon is very clutch. He's a clutch freshman, man. He's hit big shots for us in a ton of games this year.
Finally, what about Aaron? Aaron Edmead, at another, another small guard, but he's got some like moxie to his game too.
Yeah, he's very tough. They call him my twin on the team, my twin on the team. He's very tough, man. He's he's starting to get it, and I think once he gets the ball rolling, like once he get it, this college game, he's going to be a great player.
So fast forward 3 years from now or so, where do you see these gentlemen taking Wagner College basketball?
To the top. That's all I really see. Like their experience is going to grow and grow. Like it's already grown this year with the amount of big teams that we play, and they've only been freshmen. They're playing big minutes in these games. So along with Jafet Kaji,
Right, yeah.
they can only get higher and better from here.
It is. It's a great core group that Coach Mason's put together. What about this season? Now, if you get a healthy Dwan Anderson back and a healthy Mike Amon back, how good can this team be?
I think we could be great, man. I think we could be right there at the end in the championship game. If everybody is, I really see us clicking right now. And if we can lock down defensively, our offense is always going to be there. If we can lock down defensively and just get our team healthy, I think we'll be right there at the end.
So at 3-3 right now, you got a very good St. Francis U team coming to town. That'll be a challenge.
Yeah.
You just mentioned defense. I was going to ask you, what do you need to do to move into the top of the standings as the season goes on? Is it defense that you guys need to improve in?
Yeah, I think it's basically just defense. I know coach told us today to start practice that we lead the conference in scoring, but our scoring defense is last in the conference. If we get locked down on teams, I think we'll have a great chance.
Over your 4 years, you've played against some great guards in this league. You've matched up with some really good ones. Who are those guys that you've played in your 4 years here in the NEC that you knew you had your work cut out for you when you took the court? Who are those tough ones? Put you on the spot.
Yeah. The first two I would say would probably be Jason Brickman, Calvin Yales, and there's another guard, CJ from LIU.
Oh, CJ Garner.
Yeah, CJ Garner, yes.
CJ Garner. You guys had some battles with LIU over the years.
Yeah.
One of the things I wanted to ask you is there a game or games for you that stand out in your career at Wagner, like those games that you're always going to remember?
Yeah, probably the two games that Kenny hit buzzer beaters in. We played Santa Clara out in California. He hit the shot over the backboard at the buzzer. We won that Christmas championship. And then the game here versus LIU, when he got the offensive rebound, he laid it up at the buzzer.
That was one of the best games I've seen in this league in many years. That game with LIU, it was great. Yeah. Was there a shot? What was that?
And of course, our game recently versus Mount.
That had to be fun because you came out on the right side of that one.
Yeah.
Is there a shot that you've hit that will always resonate with you, that you'll remember, a big shot?
I don't think – I've had a couple tough layups that I didn't think I had a chance at making that I've made. But probably just shots. It's probably just going 38 versus Mount.
Do you think you don't get enough credit for your ability to take it to the rack?
Yeah, I don't think I get enough credit for anybody, but it's something that I've always been labeled, like, throughout my career. Like, even in high school, I've always been labeled as a shooter. And I feel like I could do a lot more, but it's whatever.
I notice. That's a good thing. All right, you can do it all. Believe me, we know. What about your background? Let's talk about Marcus Burton growing up in Charlotte. I saw on your bio that you played football in high school.
Yeah.
First of all, what position did you play in football? You're not the biggest guy here. You're one of the defensive tackle.
Yeah, I played cornerback. My best position was probably cornerback. Also was the punt returner and the kick returner, and I played a little bit of quarterback and running back.
Was football or basketball? Which was your first love? What did you like better?
Oh, that's a tough question. I was better at football than I am at basketball. I'll tell you that.
Wow. All right, that's saying something right there. What
Yeah,
was your team growing up? Were you a Dookie, a North Carolina guy, or there was other teams?
I was a Tar Heel.
You're a Tar Heel. All right. When you were growing up playing basketball, when did you realize you had a chance to be something special in basketball? Was there an age where it started to click for you?
um, it was probably my sophomore year in high school. Um, I was a freshman, and I know I had a lot of seniors in front of me. And once they left, it was pretty just me. It was pretty much just me and my friends left sophomore year, and I was averaging like 20 as a sophomore in the conference, and I from that point on, I got my first look from Wright State University, and at that time I think I could play.
So in the end, when it was decision time, why did you pick Wagner?
Um, my dad got a phone call from Bobby Hurley, and he was just telling me all the stories he had growing up watching Carolina and Duke play, and he was so like shocked that Bobby Hurley called him on his cell phone. So once he told me that, I was like, oh man, I can't pass this chance up.
That's awesome. Did coming to New York, the New York area, was that something appealing to you?
Yes, it was very appealing. It was very different too when I got here. I had never been to New York before I got here.
What's your favorite thing about New York City now that you're here?
Probably just the city, man. It's just all the lights, all the stores, all the people. It's just great. It's like nothing I never experienced before.
What makes now here's where you get to do a commercial for your school. What makes Wagner a cool place to be? Why should everybody that's watching this want to go to Wagner?
It's a great community, man. The people here are nice. The campus is nice as well, man. We have a good team spirit about Wagner College, and I love it.
Awesome. What's so you told me that you were a sociology major. You're a
Yes.
senior. Here's a chance maybe a professor, maybe give a shout out to somebody. What's the favorite class that you've taken in your major?
Um, Favorite class.
It doesn't have to be your major, any class. What's your favorite class you've taken at Wagner?
My favorite class would have to be this leadership and engagement class I took. Um, we studied Nelson Mandela and his history, and I learned a lot from it. It's with Chris Foreman and Samantha Siegel. Shout out to them.
There you go. Good job. So, what about what do you do off the court? What are some hobbies? What would people find surprising about you that they may not know?
I like to collect shoes.
Now, how many?
I have a lot. Probably the last pair that I bought was probably the Volt foams, and I'll probably get the French Blue Sevens that come out this weekend.
You say like a whole closet full?
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Everybody's got their hobbies. What about what about the future? So you graduate, is playing professionally in the cards? Is that something you're looking to do?
Yeah. I mean, if the cards are right and if the situation is right, I think it's something that I'm definitely gonna look forward to doing.
When your playing career is all done, what do you want to do with your life? You have your sociology major. Is there something you got in the hopper?
Yeah. Like something with criminal justice. I've been to the courtroom. My mom works in the courtroom. She works for a judge, and I've had days when I was younger. I used to go to work with her, and ever since then I fell in love with like how they run things there. So I thought that would be interesting to get into.
So, do you want to stay up here, or you want to go back towards home when it's all said and done?
Probably back towards home, man. There's nothing like home. I love it down there.
Awesome. What's the best when you go back home? What is the thing you're looking forward to eating the most when you go back home? Is there like a local thing down there that you like? Can't wait to get back there.
Local. We
Or
have
maybe
this.
something your family makes.
Oh, my mom makes great macaroni and cheese. It's her best, it's her best work ever. But there's this restaurant, this little fast food spot called the Cookout, and they sell like all types of burgers and milkshakes, man. It's great.
There you go. If you're down, it's in Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
There you go. What's the best thing about Charlotte? Quick.
Michael Jordan.
Mike. That's awesome. All right. Everybody can watch Marcus Burton and Wagner this Thursday on NEC Front Row. They host St. Francis U. Should be a good one, 7 o'clock. Then TV time on Saturday. Wagner under the bright lights. Going to play Central Connecticut on MSG Plus 2. MSG Plus 2. You got to find that one somewhere. It's one of their spillover channels. And Fox College Sports. So you get a chance to see Marcus and a surging Wagner team this week. Marcus, thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. I had a good time talking to you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
All right, we will see. I'll see you in a game soon. Today's NEC Geico Google Hangout. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Please visit geico.com. We'll see you next week with another Google Hangout.